Hey guys, this is Ty. I'm out at White Lightning Harley Davidson. It's on a Saturday, about 40 degrees, and the dealership was having a ride that I decided to show up to. I wanted to see how the Sportster S handles in a group ride with some of the big boys. So I don't know how many people are going to show up today because it's cold and that type of thing. Rain might be in the forecast, but anyway, we're going to give it a shot, so stick around. All right, well, looks like at this point there's just going to be 3 of us. So there's 3 of us, and we're picking up a 4th. Okay, cool. Everybody else is scared of the cold, I think. I don't really blame them, because there's got to be something wrong with me. I got to be at home by the fireplace. All right. Heat gear is functioning properly. All right, well, as I mentioned, there's just 3 of us total today. And when we get down the road a little bit, we're going to be picking up a 4th. But still, it should be a pretty good ride. Now, Marcus right there in front of me, he's actually let me ride that motorcycle one other time. And man, that exhaust is dope. And it is loud as all get out. So he might blast me back when he takes off. So the question at hand would be this: why would I bring my motorcycle out on a Saturday morning when it's about 40 degrees and rain is in the forecast and go out for a group ride? Well, the answer to that question is this: I want to see how this Sportster S handles with the big boys. And by that I'm talking about some of the big baggers that Harley makes. Now, it will be my intention that come spring and summer to do the same thing that I'm doing here, but in a much larger context. So today, even though this is my first group ride on the Sportster S, it's more of just a testing and first impressions type of thoughts. So for this ride today, we're just cruising around, and there's a couple of different things that I wanted to think about with the Sportster S in a group ride like this. And that is, number one, we're doing about 75 miles today, 75, 85 miles, something like that. We're thinking it's going to take us maybe roughly about an hour and a half. And one of the things that I'm curious about is, after 75 miles and, you know, a couple hours on the motorcycle, how does the seat feel? And this is the stock seat I have on this one. Harley also makes the sundowner seat that's available. So this is going to be a good test. And am I going to be able to keep this one, or will I need to upgrade to the sundowner seat? So I think this will give me a good idea of what I want to do for that. Now, I also have my heat gear plugged into this motorcycle, so that's going to be part of the test. You know, when I'm out here riding in the cold, no windshield, taking a lot of wind, how does that feel, and am I able to cope with it? So right now, I'll tell you, the heat gear that I have on is keeping me warm and toasty. I've got some good gloves on. I can feel the heat from the waist up. I've got the jacket blasting right now. And so the heat gear most definitely works on the Sportster S. And it's cool. When I bought this motorcycle, I didn't really expect that, and got digging around in the owner's manual, and you just pop off the seat and there are 2 heat gear plug-ins right there next to wherever you want to plug in your battery. Plug those in and off you go. All right, as we're slowing down over here at this red light, something else I'd like to provide feedback on is fuel capacity. You know, this Sportster S has what, 3.1, 3.2, something like that, gas tank capacity. And so I'm curious about how much gas I'm burning compared to a bagger. I filled up this morning and I was right at, my fuel capacity was right at maybe 125 to 128 miles, my fuel range. And so now I'm down to 119. So after this ride, I'm curious, how long will I be able to ride and sustain a group ride with some of the Harley's bigger motorcycles? Well, we've been cruising down Highway 58 here for probably 10 or 15 miles. No problem, staying in pack formation, of course. I'm able to keep up with these guys with no trouble at all. There is a lot of wind, and it is rather cold. You know, a lot of times I'm used to sitting behind that big fairing in my street glide, and man, that blocks a lot of wind, a lot of the wind noise and that type of thing. But here, you know, you're on a naked bike, no windshield, you're getting the full force of all the wind and the cold coming at you. It can be a little jarring, but it's not too terribly bad. In the summertime or the springtime, this would be absolutely fantastic. Now, I will say this, if you have a Sportster S and you have not put the heat grips on there yet, and I haven't, so I'm talking to you guys and myself, I would recommend doing that immediately. I know when we get back over to White Lightning, I'm going to start that order process right there on the spot. My hands are freezing, so it would highly be worth the investment, I believe. And one of the other things that I'd like to think about and discuss after this ride with you guys is the seating position on this motorcycle. You know, you're not seated the same way that you are when you're on a bagger, like my Street Glide, for example. So when we get back to the dealership, one of the things that I want to notice and get a feel for is, you know, how do I feel? Am I starting to get fatigued? Am I getting a little bit tired? Is my back cramping up? And I'll tell you this, I'm 49 years old and I didn't take any leave this morning.
My back. Oh, my back.
All right, we took a little pit stop, warmed up just a little bit, and now we are on our way back to White Lightning. So Marcus tells us they're going to have some chili waiting on us, or some that's being cooked or something like that. So we will catch you guys when we get back to the dealership. All right, well, we are getting ready to pull back into the dealership over here. And I would be lying to you guys if I said that I wasn't happy about it, because I am cold. I am straight up freezing.
Yeah, we better have a bachelor when we're going, because my ass is frozen to this yak.
But we're going to get in here and get some chili and de-thaw. And then head home in a little while.